Hi, friends, and welcome to episode number three. I hope you enjoyed the previous ones that we've done, previewing the Sunrisers Hyderabad as well as previewing the Delhi Capitals before this. We've got KKR now, the Kolkata Knight Riders. Um, Shah Rukh Khan, their owner, has had a phenomenal year in his filmy career. He's belting out hit after hit at the box office, and I'm sure he'll be hoping that his franchise can repeat his own performance at the box office and make this a bumper year for KKR. Along with me, bringing you this coverage today, my co-host, as always, Sarvesh from Mumbai. Sarvesh, how's life?
All good. Good relaxing Sunday.
Nice, fantastic. Now, if you're wondering what t-shirt I am wearing in this podcast today, you can see the green and gold, but it's not a South African t-shirt or an Australian t-shirt. In fact, if you look slightly closely, this is a Cook Islands t-shirt. This is the national team's, and I am the national manager for the Cook Islands men's team. So I take great pride, great mana in wearing that t-shirt and hoping that most of you who are watching this also start giving a bit of a shout out to the Cook Islands men's team. Right, let's concentrate on the Kolkata Knight Riders for now. Sarvesh, probably one of the biggest talking points wasn't their position on the table last year, but I guess one of the biggest talking points for this year is that the man from Kolkata, the man who took them to all those titles when he was in charge, Gautam Gambhir, is back. And your take on that?
Yeah, homecoming. It was pending. I think I think it should have happened before. I mean, we all know how Gautam Gambhir, uh, his closeness with this franchise and his connection, his emotional connect. He has said this a lot of times as well, that how much he enjoys being there. And I think when you see Gautam Gambhir and Manish Pandey back in that setup, it feels like it is. I feel 10 years younger. Suddenly, it's that kind of feeling. Proper nostalgia. These guys were there, and I think that was KKR's best era. Gautam Gambhir, Robin Uthappa, and Manish Pandey. I think that was their era. That was this time. That was their time, and they those two titles that they won at that time, I think they were phenomenal. And in fact, at that time, we did not have that this current Mumbai Indians setup. At that time, it was KKR and CSK. They were dominating, for those 2 to 4 years period. So it was a fabulous team. I think I'm glad, I'm happy for the KKR fans that their main man is back with them.
Yeah, it's been as you say, rightly say, it's a homecoming of sorts for him. He was there, then he went away. He's been linked to LSG for a bit, but you can see the joy in his own face and his own voice. I saw a little snippet of a video from him today on Twitter, talking to the team for the first time, and you can feel the passion and the joy that was there. And yeah, this is Gautam Gambhir to a T. And I think. He and Chandrakant Pandit, who's now going to be the coach for the second season in a row, actually are very similar people because they are hard taskmasters. They expect a lot, and they lead by example. So I'm sure that it's a great, it's going to be a good marriage made in heaven for both of those guys. And I think something that KKR for a while has been missing. That spark has been missing, and to bring that pride in their performance and kind of play for their fans, and really kind of sh- treat. I don't know what the right word to use is, but sometimes over the last few seasons, when you've seen KKR playing, you feel that they're going away from what their strengths are, from what their core game plan is. And I just think that with Gotham coming back, we might just see KKR coming, the best of KKR coming back again.
Absolutely. And
Your
I'm
thoughts?
glad you
Yeah.
mentioned Chandrakant Pandit, because nobody talks about him. He won Ranji Trophy with Vidarbha, with MP a couple of years back, and he's a solid coach, proper tactician, and that pair of Gambhir and Chandrakant Pandit, I think it's a very good one. If you have to go for a domestic coach, who has been around for decades now, who knows all the pitches, who knows all the venues, who know all those smaller things, smaller details. I think it's Chandrakant Pandit, and he comes from that. He along with they even have Abhishek Nair. I mean, these guys they have played. Chandrakant Pandit was Mumbai's coach as well. Abhishek Nair is also from the same setup, so that mutual understanding is also there. So I feel it's a great backroom staff, great management, great set of coaches that they have right now. I think, and with Shreyas back, I think it looks like a complete picture. I mean, we will discuss about him in details in the next few sessions, but I think this looks like a proper setup for them. I think they could actually do what they they could actually fulfill the potential that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, number 7 last year on the league table, as we can say, with only 6 wins and 12 points on the board, just pipping Punjab on net run rate. And I'm sure this year they will be hoping that they do a lot better than that because of all those reasons that we've just mentioned. Could we have a quick look at what went wrong for them last year?
Yeah, I think they had. If you see them in patches, I think they had a good run of games towards the end of their campaign. If you remember that match against CSK, they played at Chennai. I think Rinku Singh was the one who took them to a victory. I think that was a very critical game. I think CSK were playing some fantastic cricket at that time, and I think to defeat CSK at Chennai, is not a joke. I mean, whenever they win their titles at Chennai, they are a solid force. You just cannot go there and knock them out. But KKR managed to do that. I think they have all those ingredients. They did all those things correctly, but it could not happen for them consistently enough. That was their issue. And towards the end of the campaign, I think it felt like they have finally got something working for them. And I think let's not be too harsh on them. They had their captain missing. Nitish Rana was the standing captain, and I personally feel that he did a fabulous job. It was not easy, but he did a very good job with that team. In fact, I was thinking if KKR will continue with Nitish this season, but I think they have gone back to their original option, which is again fair on both Shreyas and Nitish.
Yeah, those numbers tell a story, don't they? There were 3 batters there who've gone over 400 runs for the season. They've had Varun Chakravarti picking up 20 wickets in last season, and Sunil Narayan and Suyash Sharma. So you can see that the spin department seem to have pulled a weight, but not the pace bowlers don't feature in that list of wicket takers. Similarly, 3 batters having a 400 plus season is good, but I think sometimes you just need that one batter to go on
Above 500.
and have that big
Yeah.
500 or 600 run season, and that kind of then starts shaping that team into a playoffs
Agreed.
situation kind of a thing.
Completely agree with that. So Rinku Singh was a star man. He won them matches from positions where they were not thinking about winning. We all remember what happened against Gujarat. I think Rinku now in this last 12 months or so, he has matured a lot. He's now a completely different player right now. He's playing for India consistently. He's performing for India consistently. So Shreyas, Rinku, Nitish. I mean, this is a very very strong core. I think they will expect so one of these guys to go above 500 this season. Like you said, because sometimes it is required that one of your key batters go above 500 or 600, and you normally have a fabulous season.
I think Rinku Singh, since you mentioned him, I have to say, I don't think there is another player in world cricket today who is as loved as Rinku Singh is.
Absolutely.
Whatever format he plays, whichever game he's playing in, I think the people just, it's a beautiful story, and we all know that backstory. We know how he always plays with a smile on his face. He's been with this KKR setup for such a long time, then gets his opportunity and makes the most of it, starts winning games for them single-handedly. And then there are question marks whether he can do this at India level, and he's done that for India as well.
And all without a fuss, quietly. He just goes about it, does his job. That's it, done.
Absolutely. And again, one of those players who can come down, lower the order, and just start going from ball 1. And if he has to come higher up in the order because there's some wickets fallen, he's got actually the game to play both. He's a class act.
Yeah, we just
And
saw that against the last T20 game in against Afghanistan. That partnership with Rohit, complete,
yep.
masterclass of maturity. He did. Nobody was expecting Rinku Singh to stay there, remain there, but what he did was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, and one of the things, we talk about this being the kind of defining tournament for selection into that World T20 competition that's coming up immediately after the IPL. And I would actually stick my neck out and say that even if Rinku Singh has a terrible IPL,
Yeah,
I would still take Rinku Singh in my World Cup side,
absolutely.
because he's just brilliant. So yeah, all power to him, and hopefully we're going to see another phenomenal performance by Rinku in this year's IPL. Um, could we have a quick look at their squad for this season? Yep, so there we have it. Now, right at the top, the Shreyas Iyer, and we have to spend a little bit of time about talking about him, because it's not been the best of few months for him, has it? Gets first of all dropped from the Test team for all practical purposes that we know of. Then the NCA says that he is fit enough to play. Shreyas himself says he's not, and then skips a Ranji game, misses out on getting a central contract from the BCCI. Then turns up and plays the Ranji Trophy final for Mumbai. Scores a 95, has back spasms right throughout that innings, and pictures of him lying on the field and getting treatment going all over social media. um, my question to you, I've got two questions for you, basically. Um, has BCCI hashed up this whole Shreyas Iyer issue? And secondly, um, is he, what sort of physical shape is he in now? Because obviously it's a long tournament, it's a grilling tournament. He's also got the captaincy. What are we going to expect from Shreyas Iyer?
I think it's. I mean, if you have to sum this up, I think I will say that there's a lot of miscommunication. There are few people not on the same page, not agreeing with things. There is a lot of miscommunication there, and I think these things have added up. They have piled up, and it has resulted into something like this, which is absolutely chaotic. Shreyas, I mean, when he was dropped, there were a lot of rumors that he is purposely not playing domestic cricket. He's making up that he's injured. He's not playing Ranji, and he's already there in the KKR camp. I think uh, this earlier this season, before the start of the this series against England, he was playing Ranji for Mumbai. After that, he joined the Indian team, and then after second test, we heard those reports that he's injured. He's not there. He was not there with the Mumbai team as well. But after that, after some time, for the semi-final, he joined the team. He played semi-final and he played the final as well. Now, the thing is that the what we are reading is that Shreyas was not 100%, and what we saw on that fourth day of on the third day of that Ranji Trophy final is that he was having back spasms. So he was, we sort of got an indication that okay, he's actually not that, he's not actually not in a good shape. So we saw that he is not currently, he may not be fit for that fit for the longer format, but something that we have to be very careful of is that we do not judge players based on whatever is said in the on the social media and something like that. So I mean, we cannot make those judgments. I mean, there could be something happening behind the doors that we are not aware of. So I think this is that kind of a case where communication is not done, is not proper. Lot of things that we are not aware of. Plenty of things have happened behind the doors. So I think it's a bit chaotic. I don't understand what went wrong, but what I hope is that Shreyas is fit enough to play this IPL, and he has a very good IPL this time around, because he's somebody who I personally want to do well. I mean, he has played for India. He has played World Cup for us. He has done well. That century against New Zealand in that semi-final game. In my opinion, it could be that innings which made the difference in the end. I mean, the margin was not. It margin may look smaller on paper. Margin may look bigger on paper. It might look 70, 80, 90 runs, but but that innings of Shreyas, I think it made the difference. So I think he's a quality player. We all know what he can do. I really hope that he has a good IPL this time around. He plays well. He remains fit, and he makes himself. He makes his case stronger for the World Cup, for the World Cup spot.
Yeah, I have a saying that the word cricket starts with a C. There's a reason why the word captain starts with a C. There's a reason why the word coach starts with a C, and there's a reason why the word communication also starts with a C. You know, unfortunately, in cricket, we seem to see a lot of this that captains, coaches don't communicate well, and leads to a lot of ambiguity and conjecture as far as um, players are concerned. Anyway, looking at their batters this year, we've got obviously captain's back, Shreyas Iyer right at the top, Nitish Rana, familiar name, don't need to say too much about him. Rinku Singh, all enough said, absolute champion. We see Manish Pandey, a homecoming for him as well, sneaking in. One of the players who has pulled out though is Jason Roy, because of obviously he's been traveling in franchise cricket for a while, just wanted to spend some time with his family, so he's pulled out of the IPL. So he's gone, but then they've got a late inclusion in the form of Phil Salt in their side. And trust me, I saw that series between England and the West Indies, T20 series that was happening, and Phil Salt looked like he could hit any and every ball out of the park for a six. He was in sublime touch in that tournament. And yeah, it's good to see that he's found a home, along with another dasher right at the top, Rahmanullah Gurbaz. I would always pay to watch Gurbaz
Yeah.
bat. His straight driving is out of this world. And I think nobody hits a better looking six over the bowler's head other than Rahmanullah Gurbaz. He just has that dynamite kind of properties in him. But yeah, your take on the batting looks good.
It looks good on paper. I mean, that core of domestic Indian players, Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, and Rinku Singh, and if you add Manish Pandey, that becomes a very solid core. If you have, and along with that, there's Venkatesh Iyer as well. So these four players in that top five, it's very solid. I mean, you may not see a lot of teams, who have such 4 or 5 quality Indian players in their top five. There are like it must be Mumbai Indians and I think KKR. That's it. These are the only teams who have that kind of a quality in their top five, top six. So I think that Indian core is excellent. That is one of their strengths along with their spin department. The if you move to all rounders, we have the season campaigner Andre Russell, then Venkatesh Iyer. Venkatesh Iyer, he has been bowling in the domestic circuit. We may not see him bowling in IPL, but he's in touch with his bowling is what I can say. And then we have Ramandeep Singh. Ramandeep Singh, I mentioned his name in our first podcast in that SRS episode. That Ramandeep Singh is
Yep.
somebody I'm looking forward to for in this season. He if you remember, he played for Mumbai Indians a couple of season ago, but after that impact player rule, he could not get his opportunities. He's somebody who can. He's very similar to Andre Russell in one aspect where you do not expect those seam bowling all rounders to bowl the 17th or the 19th over. You expect them to handle the new ball or to take those middle overs, bowl 10th over or 8th over or 4th over or 5th over. But Ramandeep Singh is somebody who can actually bowl seam up in the later stages of the game. He can actually go and bowl 17th and 19th over straight away. Something KKR expect from Andre Russell. So I think in that aspect it's a good signing, and his batting. I'll tell you. I watched that Punjab's domestic T20 league, Sher Punjab League, and in that he was
Of
I
course
think
you did.
first. Yeah, he was first or second highest run getter. He was first or second highest wicket taker as well. And there was one game where he hit 5 sixes in 1 over, and then in next week he took one hat trick. So that tells you, that all those ingredients are there. He just needs one opportunity. I think if KKR can, give him a longer rope, tell him that okay, boss, you're going to play 6-7 games. Don't worry about your spot. Just go out and do well. Then I think Ramandeep Singh could be that player. Who we could see. Last season we saw Suyash Sharma for them. Performing. This season it could be Ramandeep Singh. And we don't have to talk about their spin department. Varun Chakravarti, Suyesh Sharma, Sunil Narayan. I mean, fabulous players. Then there's Mujib as well, and Anukul Roy. Anukul Roy is a left arm spinner. He hasn't been playing. He hasn't played a lot of games for them. He's a left arm spinner, and as we all know, he's a gun fielder. And if you go to that seamers department, now we discussed how KKR had two spinners in the top 30 wicket takers in IPL last season, but there was not a single seamer from them. So I felt they had that the seam bowling department was not that brilliant. They had two players, two domestic players, so Vaibhav Arora and Harshit Rana. But I think those two do not have that kind of an experience. Though those two are quality players. Harshit Rana has matured a lot. He's now a very good player. You can count on him. But that one experience Indian or the overseas player, overseas teamer, that was missing. So what they have done, they have gone and taken Mitchell Stark. They have spent close to 25 crores on him. Specifically for this reason. They wanted that experience in that seam bowling department. And they have got him. And unfortunately, Gus Atkinson is not there, so they have replaced him with Dushmanta Chamira. And apart from that, they have Chetan Sakriya as well. Chetan Sakriya who missed the majority of the season, domestic season this season, but this year. But he came back towards the end of the Ranji campaign, so I think he should be fit. And then there is Sakib Hussain, the unknown domestic player. I think he's also a very good prospect. So overall, I think they have a pretty good squad.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions for you on that front. Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan, absolute legends of the game. Both have been at the core of KKR's success over the years. Both 35 plus now. How long or how much longer can both of them, keep performing, or how much longer can KKR depend on them? Because with his remodeled action, Sunil Narayan's effectiveness has reduced. He is not the Sunil Narayan that used to be there previously. He still is economical and still picks up wickets, but that mystery factor has gone out of his bowling. Andre Russell seems to be like the classic sine curve. He has moments where he is just still reminds you of the old Andre Russell,
Yeah.
and then he goes through periods where he is doesn't feel like you feel the magic is coming to an end. How long do you think? What can we expect from them?
I think you use a very good term. You said sine curve. It's a very good way to define current Andre Russell. He'll perform, and then at some point he might get injured, and his form may dip, and then suddenly you will see a 15 ball 50 from Andre Russell in the next game. So it goes zigzag like him, and with Sunil Narayan, I think he's somebody who has gone through all those issues with his action over the years, and again he has managed to come back. He's somebody who has found ways to be relevant. For longer term. He's relevant for like now how many 10, 15 years, despite those issues with his action. So he has something which he knows that he can always rely on. He knows the basics of his bowling. So I think that helps him to be relevant for longer periods. And I think even now, he is not the same Sunil Narayan that we know, but he's somebody who will always go out and give his best. He will always give you 4 overs, 25 runs, 30 runs, or for 2 wickets. He'll always be economical. He'll always sometimes. He is not the same Sunil Narayan opener as well, but he in some game he might swing and score 2-3 sixes. So he will give flashes of that older Sunil Narayan. But I think both these players, I think they are still assets. But what KKR I think realized that they cannot no longer they cannot just rely on these two players to win matches for them. So what they needed was they needed a stronger core around these players. Andre Russell may not win matches on his own, but he can still go out and pick up 2-3 wickets in last 2 overs in 18th or 20th over. So Sunil Narayan, again, like I said, he can still be relevant. So I think what they have realized, these two are not the same match winners that they used to be, but they have to compensate that with the other players. So that's why they have that stronger core of Indian players now, who can back these guys and win matches for them together. I think that's what makes KKR's this strategy a reliable one. Otherwise, if you just rely on Sunil Narayan and Russell, then I think it may not work. But having that core around him, I think it's a good sign.
Yeah, totally get that. One last thing and comment from my end would be Mitchell Stark. The highest paid IPL buy ever in the history of the IPL. The payday came just in time because he and Alyssa Healy apparently bought a lifestyle property um, in New South Wales. So it's come at a fantastic time for them. But just and I know the Australians are looking at the IPL quite seriously this year because of the fact that the T20 World Cup is immediately after it. Otherwise, they don't bother playing in it because they try and preserve themselves for Test cricket. But we've got Pat Cummins here, we've got Mitchell Stark here. Both of them are going to be there at that T20 World Cup. And 14 games. Do you think we are likely to see Mitchell Stark for 14 games? Because there's no other overseas seamer apart from Chamira in that squad. Do we see Mitchell Stark for all 14 games?
I think I personally see him playing all games when he's available because in my opinion, if KKR under Gautam Gambhir, they might go back to that original strategy. They might play on this typical KKR pitch, slower pitches, where the spinners could be in the game. So if they have to play one seamer, then I think it's Mitchell Stark, and they always have the services of Andre Russell available, so he can bowl those seam up, he can bowl seam at the back end. So I think whenever fit, I think Mitchell Stark will always play. But my issue with this setup is that they have Dismanta Chamira as his backup, and Chamira's fitness itself, it has been a cause of concern recently. He's a very capable player. He's a very good backup to have for Mitchell Stark. But just that his record with injuries in recent times hasn't been great. So I think that's one area of concern for KKR. But I think when available, I think Mitchell Stark should play all the games. And if you're playing on slow wickets, then you will need that X factor seamer in your team, who could make things happen for you. Similar to what we see with Jasprit Bumrah on slow wickets as well. He's equally effective. So I think KKR looks at him in that regard, that he could do the job for them on any wickets. So that allows them that freedom to play on the slow wickets at home.
I guess his role is going to be 2 overs in the power play. First, initially try and swing it back into the right hander, see if there's any swing available, and then finish it off at the dead as well with his Yorkers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything to note in the domestic performances of either the batters or the bowlers in the KKR side?
Yeah, I think in domestic batting, I think we all know what Nitish Rana, Rinku Singh, all these guys can do. There's one name, Ankuresh Raghuvanshi. He's from the Mumbai setup. I've seen him bat. He's still very young. Still lots of improvements to be done. I think it might seem that this has come a bit early for him, but again he's a talented lad. He has played age group cricket for Mumbai. I've seen him under 23. All those younger age categories. I've seen him play for Mumbai. He has already played for India under 19 World Cup, so we have seen him play. And apart from that, I think the pretty decent performances. Look at Ramandeep Singh's strike rate. I think you mentioned about it some time back. It's around 223.
222 in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. 127. They'll happily take those numbers if he's coming lower on the order. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Ramandeep. I mean, I'll talk about him in the starting 11 section, but I'm keeping my. I think that Ramandeep Singh is going to have a good season if he plays consistently. And then talking about bowlers, I think Suyash Sharma had a fabulous Syed Mushtaq Ali, and then Varun Chakravarti had a fabulous Vijay Hazare Trophy. And both these spinners, I think they were actually, look at that economy in Vijay Hazare Trophy, 4.3 and 4. Suyash Sharma in Syed Mushtaq Ali has economy of 4.6. So these are great numbers. I think these two are going to be very critical for them. I think Suyash Sharma, we could see him perform even better this season. I think this is what going to happen with these guys. Let's move on to starting 11.
Is the hair any longer, or is it the same length?
I think it's going to stay the same.
All right, that's your starting 11. Run us through that quickly.
Yeah, I see Phil Salt starting, then Venkatesh Iyer, Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, Rinku Singh, that solid Indian core. Then Andre Russell, I'm backing Ramandeep Singh to bat at number 7. He can give you good 2-3 overs of seam and then bat excellently down the order. And then Harshit Rana, he's somebody, again in a similar category. He can hit a long ball, he can bowl at good pace. So I think if KKR have to rely on one Indian seamer, then it has to be Harshit Rana this season. And then along with that, Sunil Narayan, Mitchell Stark, and Varun Chakravarti. And then while bowling, they could replace some of their batters with either Suyash Sharma or Vaibhav Arora. Now, if it's seeming, then I see them going for Vaibhav Arora. If it's a slow wicket, then Suyash Sharma has to come in for any of the batters.
Does look formidable. Let's have a look at my potential starting 11 there. Yeah, so no surprises. I've gone with Phil Salt and Venkatesh Iyer to open the innings there. I've already spoken at length about how talented Phil Salt is.
Yeah.
I've got Shreyas at 3, Nitish Rana at 4, Rinku Singh at 5. No surprises there. The big hitting Andre Russell at 6. I've got Mitch Stark at 7 because I think his batting's become a lot better these days, and he can give you those quick fire runs at the bottom of the order, coming late and finishing an innings. So I've got him there. And obviously, we know that Sunil Narayan has batted at every number from 1 to 11 in that KKR lineup over the years. So he's also capable of giving you some quick runs. So at number 8, Sunil Narayan. Harshit Rana, totally agree. I think he's got pace, and I like young fast bowlers who've got a bit of pace about them. I remember last IPL, I was quite surprised because he bounced a couple of people out.
Yeah.
And if an Indian fast bowler can do that, love watching things like that. So he's in my team. Varun Chakravarti, obviously top wicket taker from last season. He makes the cut. And I've got actually a starting place for Suyash Sharma there as well, because I have a funny feeling this year we're going to see, as you said, pitches that are going to be the old KKR's formula of playing. And I think that they're going to turn and be slow turners, and Suyash Sharma will come into his own on those pitches. Vaibhav Arora, because if you look at what LSG did under Gautam Gambhir as well,
exactly.
that Lucknow pitch was the slowest and lowest of all the pitches in the last IPL.
Yeah.
And Gautam Gambhir loves those kind of pitches, so I'm sure he'll have a word with the curator to kind of get what he wants. In my impact subs, obviously, if it is a quick pitch, then you go with Vaibhav Arora, Chetan Sakaria, and then Manish Pandey, because if you need a batter, you're chasing a total and you need a batter, then you obviously got Manish Pandey. So that's as far as the 11s are concerned. Any final points from you, Sarvesh, before we wind this session up?
I think Suyash Sharma and Ramandeep Singh, these two guys are going to have a good season. I'm totally backing these guys. I personally feel that the KKR needs to give that cushion to Ramandeep, and Suyash is already doing a fabulous job. So these two guys, I think, for two KKR fans, I think watch out for these two guys. They are going to be phenomenal, if they are used correctly.
You heard it from the man himself, Ramandeep Singh and Suyash Sharma. Keep a close eye out on those. As we started this episode with Shah Rukh Khan and his performance at the box office, it's been a year of the Pathan, it's been a year of Donkey, it's been a year of Jawan. Can the boys from KKR take inspiration from their owner's performance and put in a performance that their fans are going to be absolutely proud of? Well, we'll know soon in a few days' time when the IPL kicks off. I hope you enjoyed our coverage of KKR's preview this season. If you have, do give us a like, do give us a comment, and please share our podcast with as many people as you can. Follow Sarvesh on Crick Aspect on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Rahul Patil NZ. And of course, follow the Sneakometer podcast on both Instagram as well as on Twitter. Thank you so much for listening in, for tuning in. And until next time, this is Rahul Patil signing off along with his co-host Sarvesh. And we will be back with the Punjab Kings.
Yeah.
I always go back to Kings 11 Punjab. I don't know, it's stuck in my head. But we will be back with the Punjab Kings in our next episode. Until then, Thank you, and thank you for watching.